So, are you actively looking for an apartment building to scale your real estate investing, but maybe you feel a bit stuck? Maybe you're not finding really good deals right now. You're not sure if you're doing it right. Are you analyzing deal? Or maybe brokers and investors aren't taking you seriously. Now, here's the thing: it's something I discovered, unfortunately, not early enough in my career. If you're getting into this business, this apartment buildings on your own, as in without an experienced team behind you, then this do-it-yourself approach may cost you more than you think. And it's not just opportunity cost, but it's actually avoiding the big mistakes. So in this video, I want to show you a way you can buy your first apartment building, but do it quicker, safer, and bigger by leveraging what I call the 3 freedom accelerators. Let's do this. Hey, my name is Michael Blank, and I help people become financially free with real estate. One of the main issues with doing everything yourself is that you can't really know for sure if you're doing it right. So did you pick the right market, right? How do you know it's the right market worth investing in? What makes a good market? Analyzing deals. Well, how do I know I'm doing it right? Am I using the right numbers? What about raising capital, right? To what degree have you been able to find investors or talking to brokers? Are they taking you seriously, or are they asking you to submit proof of funds? And then let's say you actually close on a deal. How do you know you're properly managing the building? These are so many things that you have to learn. And it happened to me when I was in your shoes trying to do everything myself. And I got into a 12-unit apartment building and made all kinds of mistakes. For example, I wasn't aware of the landlord-tenant laws. This was a 12-unit in Washington, D.C. and has very favorable tenant laws. And I didn't understand what that meant. What it meant, for example, it was very easy for the tenant not to pay rents and very difficult to evict. Very easy for tenants to sue the landlord for really no reason whatsoever. And so I didn't understand it, and I couldn't deal with it. Also, I hired the wrong property manager. It was a Section 8 building, and this property manager had no experience with that, and I had no idea. I probably should have worked with a more experienced real estate investor who probably would have told me not to have rental property in Washington, D.C. in the first place. So my biggest mistake really was not having the right team behind me, starting it all over, reinventing the wheel. All of these things are necessary. And so I made lots of mistakes that were avoidable. And then while I'm trying to figure this thing, while I'm learning on the job, I am not finding more deals or raising more capital. So the opportunity cost was enormous. So my biggest lesson, especially doing anything meaningful for you, starting a business, but specifically getting apartments buildings, is not to do this alone, not to reinvent the wheel, but to surround yourself with the right team and the right system. And so I want to kind of talk to you about what I call the 3 freedom accelerators. Follow these 3 things because they're really going to allow you to do bigger deals faster. So let's talk about the 3 freedom accelerators next. So the first freedom accelerator is to follow the right system. Now, in my defense, back in 2011, when I got started, there really wasn't a system to follow. Okay, but now today, we have a system called a deal maker blueprint. It kind of shows you, well, what to do in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And it follows a blueprint from learning all about syndications and then practicing in a safe environment, talking to brokers, talking to investors. And so follow a proven system. I'm sure there's others out there besides the deal maker blueprint. That's just ours. So there's no need now to really reinvent the wheel and figure out what to do in what order. So following the right system is the first freedom accelerator. The second freedom accelerator is to get the right support. There's 3 kinds of support that you should look for. Number 1 is community, right? Community are the other crazy people who want to do the same thing that you do. Now, maybe know what I'm talking about. You talk to friends and family about getting in apartment buildings, and they kind of think you're a little crazy. The problem with that is that you listen to it enough, and you start believing it. And that's a problem. And you solve that problem by getting into a community of other crazy people. That is your tribe. So find that online community. In our world, it's called the Dealmaker Mastermind. It's hundreds of people online and getting together in groups and talking shop and encouraging each other, holding each other accountable. The second kind of support is a coach. And a coach is different than a mentor. I'll talk about it in a second. A coach is someone who can help you with mindset issues like limiting beliefs or lack of clarity. They can arm you with the tools to handle challenges and setbacks, and they can hold you accountable and they can encourage you, right? So have someone who can help you through some of the mindset issues that we all deal with. The third category of support is a mentor. The mentors could be a good coach, but they're not really a great cheerleader. But what they do know is they know multifamily, right? You got to find someone who's done what you've done, someone who's closed deals, quit their job. That's the ideal mentor. And experienced multifamily operators become financially free. And so in addition, they need to agree to help you with a live deal. And that takes time because when you get into a live deal, you might need a lot of time of that person. And so it's great if you can network yourself to someone who doesn't charge you. You may have to invest in a mentor as well. But those are kind of three from a support perspective that you have to have around you so you can accelerate these bigger deals and also make less mistakes. All right, the third and final freedom accelerator is you got to join the right network. This is critical because a network gives you access to capital, deals, and joint venture partners. Now, in this multifamily world, everything's a joint venture. Like it's very unusual where one person is all by themselves. Typically, there's at least joint ventures. So two partners in a joint venture, because one of them is going to be a capital raiser, and then the other one is going to be more of a deal finder, right? So if you're more deal finder, you're underwriting deals, making offers, talking to brokers. Maybe you're a little more, you're more detail oriented, you kind of like numbers. But then there's the opposite of you, the capital raisers who are more relationship people. And they really, if they see a spreadsheet, they kill out, they break out in a cold sweat, right? But they have the gift of gab, they're in the relationships. And so those two people together are magical in a joint venture. And this is why they bring together. And so you have to be in the right network. So if you're a deal raiser, a deal finder, you have access to people who are capital raisers and vice versa. But this is why joining the right network is absolutely critical. So we studied dozens and dozens of what we call deal makers who actually do much bigger deals faster. In fact, in our world, if you were to work with us, the average deal size is $4 million, the first average deal size, and they get it on a contract in the first 6 months. It's pretty cool. And that is because they follow and leverage these three freedom accelerators that we just talked about, right? Following the right system, getting the right support, and joining the right network. And it's really going from who, not how, based on the book by Dan Sullivan, right? Think of it more as you're getting into this business. It's not how do I do this, but who can help me do those things. And so, in this business, apartments, in this multifamily apartment business, doesn't require you to do everything alone. In fact, I strongly encourage you to do it with others. And so this is really why if you have a more of a who, not how mentality, and you follow the three freedom accelerators, you can do a larger deal faster and avoid the big mistakes. So follow those three, and that's what you're going to get, a larger deal. And, here's the other thing. Speaking of who, not how, we would love to be that who for you, right? We would love to help you start your journey and be successful. And we just love to have a conversation with you because the people who work with us really get results much faster than people who do it on their own. So there's a link down below. Go ahead and book that call. It's a no obligation call. It's just a conversation to see if we can help you and if you're a right fit for our program. We'd love to help you get into the business and scale and become financially free and build generational wealth for you and your family. So book that call and look forward to having that conversation. See you next time.